Hey everybody, the Book Dad here. Welcome back to the channel. And welcome to my spooky October Halloween reading month of terror. Or something like that. But hey, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you guys being here. So what I thought I'd do for today's video was to give you an idea of what I've been reading lately, kind of with both for myself and with my kids, and then set out a plan for the entire month of October as to what I'm going to be reading and share that with all of you. Now, that kind of goes against my natural reading tendencies. I don't do a lot of planning when it comes to my reading. I never have before on this channel set up a video where I would explain to all of you what it is I'm going to be reading for even a week, let alone an entire month. But I thought, hey, maybe it'd be fun. Generally, I tend to be kind of a mood reader. You know, whatever I'm in the mood for is what I read. I will go to the library and just walk around and walk out with a handful of books that I had no plans on reading at all. They just happened to stand out, and so I took them. So that tends to be my haphazard reading style. You can check out a little bit more of that at one of my previous videos where I talk about where I have a little bit of trouble sticking to just one series at a time. Whatever I see that strikes my fancy, that's what I pick up and start to read. Never mind if I'm in the middle of several other series at the same time. So first off, I'll let you guys know what I've been reading lately. So when it comes to me and the kids at night, when I read to them, we just finished the third book of the Fablehaven series. Now, when it comes to Fablehaven by Brandon Mull, by the way, I did not start out as a big fan of Fablehaven, I must say. The first book was a little weird and just wasn't really that great. The writing wasn't great. I did like the idea. I will say that the name Fablehaven, that's a great name. That's a great name for a series. And unfortunately, I didn't think it delivered on that great name. It has great ideas, you know, the ideas of all of these fairy creatures and monsters and demons and dragons and all kinds of things that reside in this sanctuary for them, and the caretakers that have to look after them and deal with all of the problems that arise from such creatures that are around their house. But so it started off a little bit weak, I must say, but it has gotten better with each subsequent book. So book 2 in Fablehaven was a little bit better than book 1, and book 3 was a little better than book 2. So it is on a slight upward trend, so that is good. I'm hoping that the 4th and the 5th book continue that trend and that they just keep getting better. But as far as all 3 of them, I basically gave 3 stars. I mean, the first book really narrowly avoided getting 2 stars, but I just sort of put them all about on the same level. But book 3 maybe is more like a 3.5 star read. So those were decent books. But we've taken a little bit of break from Fablehaven and decided to switch series. I know, I have a problem. To Inkheart, the Ink World series by Cornelia Funke, a German author, and this is the English translated version of her first book in this, what was originally a trilogy, but now a 4th book has been added. But the original trilogy starts with Inkheart, and there is a movie that was made of this with Brendan Fraser. I haven't seen the movie, and I didn't really know much about the book, but as you can see, we're only about 5-6 chapters in, but this book is really good. I am enjoying it immensely. You can just tell a major difference in quality in the writing between Cornelia Funke and Brandon Mull with Fablehaven. The writing is so much better in this book. And I'm really liking some of the stuff that it's setting up in the early chapters. A lot of mystery, and you don't know exactly where it's going yet. There's this relationship between the father and the daughter in the book that is mysterious, and there are things that are are not being told yet, but you know that there's something there under the surface. And it's really a love letter to books and reading, because each chapter also starts with a quote from another work of literature that has something to do with the events and action of that chapter. So I'm really liking it. There must be something I love about German authors translated to English, because we've got Inkheart and my other favorite book of all time, The Neverending Story, also a German book originally. So something to that. But yeah, Inkheart, awesome, and I'm excited to continue on with this series and see where it goes. Now, as for myself, right now I am reading a book that I got from the library, and that is Octavia Butler's Kindred. Now, I'm getting pretty close to being done. I got a little less than 100 pages left. It's a pretty short book, you can see. So it's a pretty quick read, but I say it's a quick read, but it's not really a quick read, because this book, whew, this is a hard read, everybody. This book is brutal. I'll give you the basic plot. You have an interracial couple in 1976, black wife and white husband, and the wife, her name is Dana, she gets sent back in time to the early 19th century, like I think it starts out around 1815 or so, and gets sent back and has experiences in the past. Like, she's literally sent back, like, so all the clothes that she's wearing at the time, whatever basically she's touching or holding, comes back with her to that time period, and she doesn't know why. Like, she sees a drowning boy in a river and she saves him, and then she begins to and then upon saving him, she basically gets sent right back to her own time in 1976, and then gets sent, and then subsequently keeps getting sent back to different periods of time in the early 19th century, and has to figure out what's happening. Why is this happening to her? Why is she getting sent back? And then having to deal with the realities of early 19th century America in the South with slavery. And whew, man, this is a tough read. It is brutal. It really, like, at some points it just makes your blood boil, and then at other points you're just like, oh man, why isn't she doing this or that or whatever? But it also really makes you think about the difference in civilization and culture between those two time periods. And so, like, this is kind of billed as a science fiction book, and I really see that because it does kind of give you like a clash of civilization and all of the repercussions of that. So very cool book, but also very deep and difficult and very weighty issues that this book deals with. So I'm excited to see where it ends up. It just got to a really exciting part, and I'm very nervous to see what happens next. So Kindred by Octavia Butler, that's what I'm about to finish up. And so then, once I finish that, then we're going to move on into the month of October. And what I thought I would do as an idea for the channel was to come up with a list of scary, kind of spooky stories to read, and then at the end of the month, do another video to share what I thought of them. So these are all going to be books that I haven't read before. And the reason I decided to do this is because, like I said, normally I don't really dedicate whole months to specific reading topics or even genres. I just sort of read whatever I want to at any given time. But last year, kind of for the first time, I decided in October of last year to read some scary books, or at least what are known to be scary books, just for the fun of it, I thought. Because I don't really read scary books or horror books or anything like that. Of course, I read stuff that has suspense and thrillers and things like that, but I never read any like actual scary books. And so I decided to do that last year with Stephen King, who I had never read before other than reading The Eyes of the Dragon, his fantasy story back when I was a teenager. It's not really one of his horror books. And so I picked Salem's Lot to read last October. And it was pretty good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Now that I've continued to read more Stephen King since then, I've seen that Salem's Lot is definitely not one of my favorite Stephen King books. It's good, and it definitely has some scary parts in it, some really kind of dark, atmospheric, really kind of puts you in certain places, and you can really sense the dread and the fear associated with them. But overall, I wasn't a huge fan of that book. Basically, it sort of was just like a pastiche of this town of a ton of terrible people. It's like you're just reading about all these really bad people. And I'm like, come on, are there any good people in this town? Like, what the heck? So, but anyways, it was a good book. It was well written. And then from there, I continued on and I read The Shining, which was a way better book in my opinion. The Shining was awesome. Now that was a very well written and very scary book. Now, when I say scary, I mean, come on. I mean, it's not scary, but it's fun to read. It's a good read. And so I enjoyed it. And The Shining was great. And then from then on, that's when I started kind of my current love of Stephen King and read a ton of his books in a row. And so as a result of that, I thought this October I could do something similar where I pick a bunch of creepy books that I've never read before and share them with all of you. So what I'm going to do is share those with you now. The very first book that I wanted to read was The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. So this book comes highly recommended by the bookwife. She loves this book, and she loves Shirley Jackson. I've never read Shirley Jackson, but she's got this cool copy of The Haunting of Hill House with the black edges. On the back it says, "No live organism can continue for long to exist sanely under conditions of absolute reality." I don't know what that means. All right, but so The Haunting of Hill House, it should be a really good book. I've heard a lot about it, at least as far as people recommending it, but I don't really know what it's about. I assume that there's a haunted house, but I don't know what all transpires there, and so I'll go in pretty blind to this book. I know there's I don't know if it was a Netflix or some series that was related to this. I think it was called by the same name, but I don't know if it was. I get the sense that it wasn't actually like literally taken from the book. Maybe it was more like inspired by. But I never saw that either. So I'm going in pretty blind to this one. But I'm excited to read it, and this will be my first read of the month. Basically what I've done is I've chosen 4 books to read throughout the month of October, more or less 1 book a week. I figure that's manageable, and most of them are pretty short books, like Haunting of Hill House is a short book. So it shouldn't be a problem, but we'll see how it goes. So this will be my first one. Excited for that. Now, the second book that I want to read in October is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Now, I have a bit of a past with this book. I said that these are all new books. Technically, I started to read Frankenstein, I don't know when it was, maybe 5-6 years ago, a little while ago, and I bounced off of it. This was a DNF for me back then. I didn't get super far. I probably got, I don't know, maybe 50 pages in or something. I don't know what it was that just wasn't clicking with me at that time. But I want to try it again because, come on, this is a classic. Everybody, like, this is one of the classics of literature, classics of Gothic literature. And, I've read Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula, and this is kind of always paired along with that, right? Dracula and Frankenstein. And so I want to get back and read the whole thing and be able to judge it as a whole. And hopefully this time it'll be better for me and I can appreciate it more. We'll see. I think back when I read it tried to read it the first time, it was sort of, I guess maybe different. I had different expectations. It was slower than I thought it was going to be. and the monster wasn't what I expected. And so it just didn't quite connect. But I want to give it a second chance. And this October, giving it a second chance as my second book of the month. And hopefully this time it'll be much, much better, and I'll be more enlightened and understand what Mary Shelley was going for with this classic. So, all right. Now, the next book I have is going to be a book. So this is a collection here. I guess this is kind of, you got a skull and crossbones there, but Robert Louis Stevenson. I've got this collection of several of his novels. I read Treasure Island recently, but this time for October, I want to read The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, another classic kind of movie monster, classic monster from literature. Same basic time period as Frankenstein and Dracula. All of these books were written in the 19th century, and I'm interested to read this story because I've never read it before. It's very short. It probably only takes up like 50 pages in this big book. This has like 7 of Robert Louis Stevenson's stories within this collection. And Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is a very short story, but I thought it would be fun. I realize now I'm kind of going through all of the Universal movie monsters and their origins in literature, but I thought it would be fun and kind of get a sense of what was creepy back then in those times, in the 1800s. And so, yeah, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, classic story of one man transforming basically into a monster and all of the havoc that is wreaked as a result of that. And so we'll see how it goes. That'll be another one. That'll be my third book that I read this month. Now, so far, those first 3 books are all pretty short, so I should be able to get through them quite quickly. But the fourth book that I want to read for October is a much bigger book, and I don't have a copy of it here with me. I've put a hold on it in the library, so hopefully it'll come in pretty soon. If not, I might have to order it on Amazon, but I'll put a picture of it up here, and that is The Terror by Dan Simmons. Now, Dan Simmons perhaps is most famous in the sci-fi fantasy world for writing Hyperion, which got right there on the new bookshelf. Oh yeah, remember, I got a new bookshelf, so hey, if you haven't seen my recent video of my bookshelf tour, check that out, and you'll see all of the new books and the new arrangement that I've got going on over here. But anyway, so yeah, Dan Simmons, famous for Hyperion and the sequels to that book, but he's written several other books, and one of them is The Terror. Now that sounds perfect for Halloween, The Terror. And so that book is, from what I understand, it's basically about an expedition somewhere, I think like to the Northwest Passage or somewhere up north through like Canada and the Arctic. And basically you have this ship captain and his crew that are trying to go on this scientific expedition up into the Arctic tundra. And upon arriving there, they find something, some kind of, I don't know what it is exactly, a monster maybe, or something that starts to kill them and take them. And so it kind of mixes almost a historical fiction tale of the sea and exploration and Arctic exploration, and combines that with a scary monster tale. And so it sounded very interesting. I know there's also a series on TV about that one. I think maybe that one was on AMC, if I remember correctly, which I also haven't seen. Of course, go figure. I haven't seen any of these TV shows. But yeah, that seemed to be a popular, well-liked series. And so I'm interested in reading the book. I really want to get into Dan Simmons. That's an author that I've never read anything by before. And so I want to find out what he's all about. And after reading The Terror at some point, definitely will be getting into Hyperion and the sci-fi aspect of his writing. So That one's a bigger book, probably I think it's somewhere between 700 to 800 pages, and so that one will take a little bit longer, but hopefully I'll still get it finished within the month of October. And if I do, then I've got a little extra bonus book, and that is H.P. Lovecraft, another author that I've never read. Now, H.P. Lovecraft, this is a collection of his complete fiction in this cool little leather-bound book. And so this has all of his stories and poems and whatever else he wrote in this whole collection. But I figure if I got a little extra time during the month, I'll check out maybe one or two of his short stories. I've never read H.P. Lovecraft before, but of course I am aware of who he is and of the influence that he has had on horror. Pretty much falls right behind Edgar Allan Poe as one of the most influential American horror writers of all time. And so a lot of authors today cite H.P. Lovecraft as one of their big influences and what caused them to get interested in the genre of horror. And a lot of times he's referred to as cosmic horror, and all of these great cosmic gods and creatures that are kind of unknowable and inspire this dread and terror that you have no idea how to deal with. And so pretty interesting stuff. As far as the stories that I might try, The Call of Cthulhu, definitely one of the classics. And also he has one called At the Mountains of Madness. And so possibly one of those two might be one I would try if I have a little extra time this month. I'll squeeze that in, fill in the gaps if I mowed through all of the rest of my stories this month. So just another option to think about. But yeah, what do you think? Those are my plans for October. And if you have any ideas about horror books or anything spooky or scary, some stuff that you've read that you think I might like, let me know in the comments what some of those books might be. Also, just a quick shout out, if you've noticed a slightly different decor for the spooky Halloween month, these all come courtesy of the book wife. I just brought down the Halloween decorations from the attic this afternoon, and so I figured I'd spruce this book dad backdrop up just a little bit. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me today and checking out this reading plan that I have for October. So thanks everybody for liking and subscribing to these videos and to my channel. I appreciate having all of you here. Things are growing here at the Book Dad, and I'm loving it. I love all of you guys that are coming in every day and subscribing. Please, if you are watching these videos and you're not a subscribing member of the channel, please do so, and go back and check out all the other videos that are here at the Book Dad. I've had a lot of fun making them, and we'll see how this plan goes. Hopefully it doesn't crash and burn, but like I said, at the end of October I'll do another video with a recap of these books and a little review for each of them to let you know what I thought of them. But until then, make sure you read to your kids every night. All right, see ya.